So thank you very much. And now I'm all yours and happy to have a conversation with you. Richard, are you here?
Yes, Itai, I'm here. Maybe first of all, I want to thank you. It was very, very interesting, and this is, I guess, a topic that will become more and more important in the upcoming years. But I want to ask you a specific question, because we have a lot of medium-sized companies who are looking for ways to become more competitive through innovation. We usually look down the way of huge companies who have a lot of resources and also have R&D departments and stuff like that. But what about medium-sized companies? What is your experience? How can they connect to this methodology? How can they connect to the knowledge? Or more importantly, how can they connect to this startup ecosystem in Israel?
So when you're saying mid-size, how many employees?
I'm talking about let's say from 50 to maybe 500 employees, this medium-sized companies.
So first of all, the first tip is, of course, to move everything to the cloud. Because when you're working on a cloud, everything is much easier and cheaper. So this is one thing to do. And the other thing is that I think that when you're running a company with 500 employees, it's not small, and there is so many opportunities with working with those startups. I would definitely put some resources in looking into solutions for specific challenges that are from startups. For example, in the area of service, how to serve your clients. There are many solutions which are turning the service into much more relevant, personalized, faster, and cheaper than the current situation. And I think that the way to do it is really to attend as many meetups or presentations like this, is to share the challenges, is to have, let's say, a mid-sized company has a LinkedIn page. Share your challenges. Tell everyone what are your challenges, that you're looking for solutions, for technologies to improve X, Y, Z. And you will be surprised how many partners, potential partners, will approach you. And I think this is the way to start. And when the ecosystem knows that you're looking for solutions, they will come and approach you with such. And this is the way to start. And more, I'll be more than happy to share privately. I can see that we also have questions in the chat and the Q&A. So can you talk about more on retail innovation? Okay, so retail, first of all, everything is moving to the net. E-commerce is really growing. And I think if one is not there, it should be there. Everything is there. And there are really good technologies that are already really working well that you should adopt for a relatively low amount of money. And there is a lot of new technologies there around the supply of the products, around even technologies that help you to make more money out of any e-commerce visitor. I was showing you a map of the e-commerce, of the retail technologies in my presentation. I will share it with the one that has asked it, Sergio. So Sergio, you can message me later and I will send you the presentation. You can get there at least a start of a list of startups to start with from different areas. Retail is definitely one of those areas that really changed the last 9 months significantly. So the physical retail and the e-commerce, of course. I didn't know, I'm reading, so if I understood you correct, it is as easy as contacting you with our area of interest. Am I correct? Yes, you're correct, Georgio Beitman. And Sabo is asking, thank you very much for the talk, definitely inspiring to change. Thank you very much. Where should a small 10, 100 companies that has men under the leadership vision of the CEO begin? How to open alliances? So again, even a small company, you have a huge opportunity because you're small. You don't have the bureaucracy. You just need to have an open mind. Bring young people, make them be open to new things, make them partner with others, make them create kind of brainstorms with them about ideas, kind of internal hackathons. Share with on your Facebook, LinkedIn pages, share that you're looking for technologies to improve. Show the world that you would like to perform better. And you will be surprised, you'll find so many. For mid-sized companies, there is a huge opportunity these days because you are much faster and flexible to adopt innovation. Much faster than big companies. So you can become the big companies really soon with adapting the right technologies. And it is super important to learn about the trends. I constantly say to my clients, there is a lot to learn from others. We don't know everything. You don't know everything. But around the world, there is a lot to learn. There are many industries. For example, if you're an insurance player, there is a lot to learn from China, for example, about the trends. So it is always good to open your mind and learn about new things out there. In the Q&A, we have a question. Thank you, Itai. Enjoy it very much. Thank you. Please, could you repeat what is the meaning of FOMO? And yes, sure. FOMO, Margarita Heredia. So FOMO is people with a fear of missing out. Curious people that are looking into what's new out there, always looking for what's new out there, for new partners and so on. And the opposite are people with the NIH syndrome, not invented here. The one from the 10,000 employees company, we always approached him and he always say, oh no, I'm the smartest person around the world. It does make sense that you, small startup with 20 employees, will do better than I do. These are people with huge ego and they risk the future of your company. If you have people with ego, that ego motivates them, these people throw them away, give them a kick in the ass. Really, these people are really risking your future. I mean, I've seen so many people like that ruin companies, that this is catastrophic. How to choose a board that will push innovation of the company, that not just think in concept. Bring people from startups, bring people, entrepreneurs, bring people even from academy, bring people that understand the trends. It doesn't make sense. You know, I met last week a board member in a huge company in Israel. She's 70 years old. And she told me, my grandson knows better than I do where this world is moving. And you know, I can tell you, even in Israel, last week there was a research that CEOs during the crisis were not consulting with their board. They didn't take their advice. They didn't ask for because they don't have an relevant experience to the challenge that this CEO is facing during this COVID-19 challenge, during this crisis. And you know, I'm sure it's the same around the world. And the reason for that is the boards are not relevant. And if the people there are going to be relevant, the company will move in the right direction. And this is such a small, simple change. I highly recommend you do it tomorrow. How are you? Control, confidentiality, sharing strategic plans is risky, don't you think? Yes, it is risky, but the winner of 2020 are those that are executing fast. not those that are keeping confidential secrets of strategy. And you know, big companies like Coca-Cola, like Facebook, like Google are sharing their challenges because they have the confidence that they will perform and execute better than their competitors. And this is a dilemma, but most of the companies are preferring to share their challenges rather than to keep it internally because they see that the value, the potential of partnering with others is by far higher than the confidentiality issue. And this is really the thing. I mean, don't put more resources into internal R&D. Everything is moving to outsource, and outsource with the best ones. And there are good startups, good partners out there that have already done what your R&D team are only dreaming upon. So do it. George asked Flegman, how can startups in Mexico can connect with the startups in Israel and bring their technology to topicalized? So listen, Israeli startups would love to work with you. So they are eager for that. And the way is really to find one that will find you the best, most relevant startups and start bringing startups. But again, it's not enough to scout for the good solutions. It is also important that internally you will have the internal change of your DNA of the company. So people will be, and your company would be open to work with those startups and to work with them fast. This is super important. Thank you, Margarita. Thank you, Margarita, for your comment. And yes, if there are more questions, I'm here to answer. Could you explain why it's better to develop external than internal? Yes, Fernando, this is a good question, and the answer is this. The world is moving super fast, and it is accelerating. Everything changed really fast. I showed you the slide that for the telephone of Graham Bell, it took 75 years to reach 50 million users, and for a good app, it takes weeks. And the reason for that is technology allows that. So there are many entrepreneurs outside your companies that have already done what you only dream upon. And for you internally to develop it will take a lot of resources and a lot of time. And time is an issue. And you would like to be relevant. You can't allow yourself to bring the market a new service or a new product in a year or two from now. You want to have it now. And if you want to have it now, and there is already on the shelf, someone has developed it, take it. Someone else paid for that, invested on that. Someone else put the resources. Someone else has done all the way. So do it, partner with them. Otherwise, you will do it internally. It would cost you more money and you will be in the market in a delay. And I'll give you an example. One of my clients, when I started working with, has approached a startup, and the startup, the big company has asked the startup for the benefit of collaborating to get 25% of the shares of the startup for free. And the startup has rejected to this offer and went to the competitor. In 3 months, the competitor had a fantastic service, new product to their clients. And my client had to develop it internally. He had to invest $5 million. It took him 3 years to develop it. And the competitor already had this product for 3 years, already made money and invested by far less than $5 million, and my client was irrelevant. So this is just one example of why really to push external innovation rather than internal. There are many more examples, and I'd be more than happy to speak with you later on, Fernando. Have I missed any other chat questions? Let me see. Yes, there are more questions here. Thanks a lot. Could you share this Zoom session recording? Many members of the board need to listen to you. I think this is, yes, I think it is recorded. I think Richard would be able to share it. So this is my answer to Sabo. And Jose Eduardo, hola Sabo. Oh, this is in Spanish, so I can't read it. So, so it's probably not for me. What else? Are there any other questions here? Richard, do you have any more questions? I have a question. Do you think that organizations need to extend?
I think Itai, there's still 2 more questions.
Yes, see, Andrea is thank you, Itai. I have a question. Do you think that organizations need an external team to manage the open innovation strategy? If so, who do you recommend in Latin America? In addition, I would like to ask, what is the best methodology for the execution of these strategies? So it is really difficult to answer with regard to the strategy, but I can tell you, no, it is not a must to have an external team. You can have an internal team. Nominate an innovation manager, one that would be in charge of the innovation, and choose one that is the best people person in the company, the one that would be able to run innovation internally between the people, between the civil, to engage them, to engage people, to make them partner with the startups. So this is really the type of person that you need. All the rest, he or she can learn, but they have to be really good people person. About sharing your experience on corporate venturing. I am from Innovate, Mid-American Open Innovation Team, and definitely we have learned and improved in so much. So also, thank you. What else are in Mexico and not having yes, so this is a question from George Schmidt about a startup in Mexico. So again, I think that the way for you to approach the market is to share on social networks what you're doing, is to knock on doors of big corporations and explain them what's the value that you bring, because they need you, definitely need you. You are in the right spot. Martin is asking, do you see relevant to know the innovation entrepreneurship ecosystem of the own region in order to take advantages? No, not at all, not at all. The challenge is not really to find the relevant startups. The main challenge is to change the internal DNA. So the internal DNA will be a magnet for startup. This is the real challenge of open innovation. And this is the challenge of 536 multinationals in Israel. So this is why there is so much experience around it. Thank you for presenting. Where to share our goals for help? On social networks. Share it on social networks. This is really helping on social networks around startup ecosystems and all these. We are in the gas station business. Okay, gas station business. There is a lot going on there. A lot of innovation out there to make everything DIY. Clients to really save money on employees and to sell more products. So there is a lot to do there. What about international sourcing? Is there a way to accelerate international sourcing from? Yes, of course. I mean, nowadays, again, to find the startups, it's not the challenge. It's not a real challenge. It's relatively easy. Most of the innovation consultants should know to find relevant good startups. The challenge is to make your companies being able to integrate those new technologies. This is the change. And this has to come from the board and from the top management. And we have to educate them and to show them many startups so they would know that if they will miss, they will lose their chair, they will lose their business. That's all I think, right? I hope that I've answered all. the questions. At least I was trying. Richard, have I missed something?
There are a few questions still coming in on the chat.
Okay.
I guess
that. This is in Spanish. I'm a coordinator. Just a second. I'm co-founder of a startup representing mining technology, able to integrate into multiple industries. We recommend pitching the startup focused on one industry, such as hemp and other agriculture, or speak about all. It is completed to funders with sense too good to be true feeling from others. I think if it depends. If it's a startup in their pre-seed seed, then you should look for a few industries and look for the one that there is most interest. And look for the one where you can get a first client, first paying client, and then focus on that. Actually, many great entrepreneurs are developing amazing technologies, but their challenge is to find the first client, to find whether there is a need in the market. So this is exactly what you should do. And there are many technologies that can be relevant to many industries. And the one where you find clients is the one where it is right for you to work. Lilia Diaz is asking any advice on how to deal with corporate directors agreed to own these external ideas at the very beginning. So I think that the way is to make them a kind of education session, tell them about the trends, what's going on around the world, make them understand that if they want not to end up like Nokia and its friends, they have to innovate. And 2020 is really a kind of signal for everyone that everything changed that fast. Those that will not change will not be with us. I'm sorry for being that sharp, but this is reality. There's no other way to tell it. So your clients, your employees are expecting you to make the change. Your shareholders are expecting you to be relevant. The only way to be relevant is to innovate, is to adopt innovation. And open innovation is the fastest methodology with the best ROI and cheapest one to make it. So make it. Many have done it successfully. I don't see any reason why you shouldn't do it with the same level of success.